Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Ditmini De Silva. Let's take a look at the headlines.
Former Archbishop of Colombo, His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Oswald Gomez, called to eternal rest. Opposition leader decides to boycott the 75th Independence Day celebrations in Colombo. Postal voting for the local government election on the 22nd, 23rd and 24th of February. China hits back at US comments on not doing enough to help Sri Lanka. A car that belonged to the millionaire businessman who was found dead under mysterious circumstances located in Negombo.
The remains of the former Archbishop of Colombo, His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Oswald Gomez, who was called to eternal rest at the age of 90, was moved to the bishop's house at noon on Friday. Reverend Father Cyril Gamini Fernando, the spokesperson for the Archdiocese of Colombo, speaking to Newsfirst, said a funeral mass will take place at the bishop's house. He said the funeral arrangements will be notified later.
His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Oswald Gomez was born on the 12th of December 1932 in Kalaniya. He received his primary education at St. Benedict's College, Colombo, and transferred to St. Paul's School, Varagoda, branch of St. Joseph's College during the war years. Then continued his collegiate studies at St. Joseph's College, Colombo. He joined the minor seminary of St. Aloysius Barella on the 16th of January 1950 and was promoted to the major seminary of St. Bernard Barella and received the religious habit on 31st of August 1951. He completed his theological studies at the National Seminary in Kandy and was ordained a priest at St. Lucia's Cathedral, Kotahena on the 3rd of February 1958 by His Eminence Thomas Cardinal Correa, the then Archbishop. Nominated on the 9th of April 1968, he received episcopal ordination on 17th of July 1968 as the Auxiliary Bishop of Colombo and titular Bishop of Mulia. On the 6th of July 2002, he was appointed as the Archbishop of Colombo. His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Oswald Gomez was instrumental in founding a number of schools and colleges in the country. He also spearheaded the program for the construction of houses for tsunami victims and supplying for their livelihood. His Grace the Most Venerable Dr. Oswald Gomez also made great contributions to literature and served as the Chancellor of the University of Colombo from 2001 to 2021.
The chief incumbent of the Mihintale Rajamahawihara, Venerable Valava Hangunavave Dhammarathanathero, revealed that the security forces personnel who were assigned for various activities at the historic temple have been removed without advance notice.
At approximately 8 p.m. on Wednesday, we found out that the Triforces, police and civil security force personnel were all asked to vacate their posts via messages. The Triforces and the police are not part of the government. They are bound to protect the citizens and these sites. The Constitution says Buddhism must be nurtured and protected, but that does not happen. That is why they are trying to betray the country. They stopped these constructions because I spoke up for the people. There are many valuable relics in the Dhatu Mandirya, including golden swords and priceless artifacts, and they removed the door because the army was constructing it. Not a single inquiry was made from us. They asked the Triforces to move out without looking into it. The Department of Archaeology doesn't have employees. It was the civil security forces that kept these surroundings in order. I am raising my voice for the country, the people and these relics. I will not follow anyone else's agenda.
Sri Lanka's election headquarters.
The National Election Commission says postal voting for the local government election will be conducted on the 22nd, 23rd and 24th of February.
Commissioner General Saman Sriratnayaka says the secure packets containing postal voting ballot papers will be handed over on the 15th. The official polling cards will be handed over on the 19th. The Gazette declaring the 9th of March as the day for the local government election was issued recently.
The National Election Commission has dismissed claims that it has misused the funds that were placed at bonds for the local government election. A senior officer told Newsfirst that it had never heard of the so-called election monitoring body that had provided details on the said false news report. PAFREL convened a media briefing in Colombo today and expressed views on the upcoming election.
නැවත වරක් පළාත් පාලන මැතිවරණය පිළිබඳව
Yet again, there are programs and announcements being made to create an uncertainty on holding the local government elections. News items circulated yesterday stating there was an abuse of the funds deposited as bonds for the elections by the Election Commission. They say some of the organizations that made these allegations are monitoring bodies, and we don't know for which elections they acted as monitoring bodies. We have never heard of those organizations. 186 million rupees received as bonds have been kept in the treasury. This was clearly mentioned by the Elections Commission. It is the constitutional responsibility of the President to provide the assistance to conduct the elections. As a result, please do not target the operations of the Election Commission.
පවත්වන්නට අවශ්‍ය සහයෝගය ලබා දීම. ඒ නිසා කරුණාකරලා මේ කාලය තුල මැතිවරණ කොමිෂන් සභාවේ ක්‍රියාවලියට මේ සෙසු නීතීන් ඉලක්ක කරන්නට එපා.
The Secretary to the Prime Minister has instructed to issue a Gazette notification regarding the name of the area which has been known as Slave Island in English until now as Kompanya in the three main languages used in the country.
The Secretary to the Prime Minister, Andra Dissanayake, has informed the Secretary of the Ministry of Public Administration, Home Affairs, Local Government and Provincial Councils, the Postmaster General and the Commissioner of Colombo Municipal Council regarding this decision, which has been taken on the advice of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena in line with the 75th commemoration of independence. Accordingly, road signs, postal usage, assessment and names of voters and voters registers associated with Kompanya Colombo too will be renamed as Kompanya in Sinhala, Tamil and English, since the nomenclature of Slave Island used during the colonial period signifies a different meaning. The name Slave Island was coined during the period of British colonial rule and was a reference to the usage of the island under Portuguese rule as a holding area for African slaves, most of them from Swahili coast and Portuguese East Africa.
Hindu religious rituals held in conjunction with the 75th National Independence Festival took place at the Trincomalee Koneswaram Temple. Religious activities took place at the Trincomalee Koneswaram Temple in the presence of Fisheries Minister Douglas Devananda and Eastern Province Governor Anuradha Yahampath.
The 13th Amendment to the Constitution is already in our Constitution and it is not new. The matter on land and police powers can be looked at later. My view is it is not a problem that needs to be addressed now. There are important issues that needs to be addressed and we have brought those to the attention of the President. This topic is listed for the third stage. Once the first two stages are solved, we should be good. Certain groups that are against this are trying to mess this up.
When
I was invited to accept the post of governor, the mandate of the people was for territorial integrity, and the then president pledged to solve issues via the introduction of a new constitution and not to implement the 13th Amendment. The main issue in the provision of land powers to the provincial council following the implementation of the 13th Amendment is that we politicize these matters. These are not minor things that should be politicized at all. We are not against the devolution of power. The central government alone cannot engage in administration, and I say this with experience. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa has decided not to attend the 75th Independence Day celebrations in Colombo tomorrow. Speaking to Newsfirst, the opposition leader confirmed his decision to boycott the grand event.
In addition, the group of MPs led by Dallas Alhaperma, who left the government to become independent, have also decided to boycott the 75th Independence Day celebrations. Speaking to Newsfirst, MP Alhaperma said he decided to boycott the event as he disagrees with the programs carried out by the present government. Rehearsals for the 75th Independence Day were held on Friday as well in Colombo. Footage of an elephant calf being used for rehearsals for the 75th Independence Day is also making rounds on social media.
Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning has responded to the comments made by Victoria Nuland, the Under-Secretary of State for Political Affairs. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning of the United States, who claimed that what China has offered in terms of debt restructuring and relief is not enough.
Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning, responding to journalists at a regular press conference on Thursday, said, quote, rather than jabbing fingers at China's close cooperation with Sri Lanka, the US might as well show some sincerity and actually do something to help Sri Lanka weather through the current difficulties, unquote. She added, quote, what was said by the US side does not reflect the truth, unquote. She went on to note that the Export-Import Bank of China has already provided Sri Lanka with a letter to express support for its debt sustainability, and Sri Lanka has responded positively and thanked China for that. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson also assured that China stands to work with relevant countries and international financial institutions and continue to play a positive role in helping Sri Lanka navigate the situation, easing its debt burden and helping it achieve sustainable development. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning said that as to Sri Lanka's debt to the Chinese side, they support Chinese financial institutions in having consultations with Sri Lanka to seek a proper settlement.
The Government Radiological Technologies Association says radiology services at government hospitals have been hampered due to the delay in maintenance and shortage of raw materials. Chairman of the association, Chanakadharma Wickrama, said 2 radiology machines at the Kandy National Hospital have been out of service for several weeks.
Since the 10th of December, the device used to remove stones has been broken and they haven't been able to fix it as they failed to provide the payment to the company which provides the service. At the Kandy National Hospital, 2 radiology machines are out of service since the 14th of November due to an issue in the radiology system of the building they are placed in. As a result, patients who require radiology treatment are burdened without the necessary treatment. These patients will have to spend between 500,000 rupees to 1.5 million rupees if they were to obtain the treatment at a private hospital.
The car that belonged to millionaire businessman Roshan Vandinayaka, the owner of a retail clothing chain, who was found dead in a rooftop swimming pool at a house in Palawatta, Battaramulla, was located from St. Joseph's Mawatha in Negombo on Friday morning. Police spokesperson SSP Nihal Thalduwa told Newsfirst that those who took away the car had informed a vehicle maintenance company that the car had suffered an issue and abandoned it in Negombo. Sri Lanka police had located the vehicle after it was towed away by the vehicle maintenance company.
Sri Lanka police suspect that the couple that took away the car had already travelled overseas. 50-year-old Roshan Vandinayaka was reported missing since the 30th of January 2023. Sri Lanka police said that investigations are taking place considering the death as a murder. Bloodstains were found close to the swimming pool from where the body of the deceased businessman was found on Thursday. Preliminary investigations have led the detectives to believe that the businessman was killed after being attacked on the head with an object, and thereafter the body was dragged and placed in the swimming pool. Roshan Vandinayaka was temporarily living with his sister in Vallampitiya, as his residence in Palawatta was undergoing renovations. He had left the Vallampitiya residence in his car at 7 p.m. on the night of the 30th, and several calls made by his sister thereafter had gone unanswered. His last call was made at around 7:29 that night. Thereafter, his sister had filed a missing persons complaint with the Vallampitiya police, citing that he was missing and that his mobile phone was inactive. Based on a suspicion, his sister, accompanied by a number of relatives, had decided to visit the house under renovation in Palawatta and had come across the lifeless body floating in the swimming pool. According to family sources, the millionaire businessman's mobile phone, wallet and 4 credit cards are missing. The Colombo Crimes Division is conducting an investigation into the death.
Popular songwriter and film director Tissa Dias had passed away at the age of 64 on Friday due to illness.
Born in Kalburvilla on the 4th of May 1957, he also worked as a cinematographer. He contributed nearly 3,000 Sinhala songs during his career. His remains are placed at a house number 380/3 in Valgama, Atrugiriya. His final rites will be performed at the Panipitiya Christ King Church Cemetery on Sunday.
The Sri Lankanbeauty Award, the country's highest civil honour, was conferred upon former Parliament Speaker Deshabandhu Jayasuriya on Friday morning. The award was presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the President's house. Deshabandhu Jayasuriya represented the Parliament from the Gampaha district and became the 20th Speaker of Parliament in 2020. He served as the Mayor of Colombo from 1997 to 1999. In addition, he also held several government ministerial portfolios, including public administration and home affairs, Buddha Sasana and religious affairs. Deshabandhu Jayasuriya also served as the Deputy Chairman and Chairman of the United National Party and is considered an exemplary figure in Sri Lankan politics. The 57th Colombo Campori got underway at Vihara Mahadevi Park, Colombo, with the participation of Colombo district schools. The 57th Colombo Campori is taking place under the banner to develop leaders for a better tomorrow and features the participation of over 8,000 scouts representing 55 schools. The Colombo Campori will conclude on Sunday night. The US is tracking a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon that has been spotted flying over sensitive sites in recent days.
Defense officials said they were confident the high-altitude surveillance balloon belonged to China. It was most recently seen above the western state of Montana. But military leaders decided against shooting it down as there was concerns over the danger of falling debris. US President Joe Biden has been briefed on the situation. Officials said the object flew over Alaska's Aleutian Islands and through Canada before peering over the city's Billings in Montana on Wednesday. A senior defense official speaking on condition of anonymity said the government prepared fighter jets including F-22s in case the White House orders the object to be shot down.
Argentina's central bank has confirmed a new 2,000 peso banknote will be issued in the country in response to soaring inflation.
The new note, which will be worth $11 officially comes after consumer prices jumped by nearly 95% in the 12 months to the end of December. It marks Argentina's fastest pace of inflation since 1991. The largest current bill, the 1,000 peso note, is worth just $2.7 on the alternative markets. Writing on Twitter, the BCRA said the new note would, quote, commemorate the development of science and medicine in Argentina, unquote. It is not clear when the note will enter circulation. When Argentina's current currency was introduced in 1992, its value was pegged at $1. But that fixed exchange rate system was abandoned after the financial crisis that engulfed the country in 2001 and 2002.
That's a wrap of the Lunchtime News. Join us again for the brief at 30 and primetime news on TV1 at 9 p.m.